I had learned early enough that people look at you before they listen to you. Some looked with hunger, some with envy, some with calculation, and some, worse, with entitlement, as though my existence came with an open invitation. By 24, I could read it instantly, the lingering glance that overstayed its welcome, the bravado disguised as confidence, the way men leaned forward when they thought proximity could substitute for permission. Working on the 10th floor of Lloyd Groups only sharpened that awareness. Power had a way of amplifying audacity. The building was glass and steel, but beneath it all was ego, thick, polished, relentless. Celebrities had tried, executives too, men who assumed their names, their money, or their access meant something to me. I turned them all down, politely when I could, coldly when I had to. Focus was my refuge, independence my armor. People like to call it discipline or pride, but the truth was simpler and uglier. I had watched my father love loudly and cruelly. I had watched my mother shrink beneath it. So I learned that attention was not affection, and that being wanted was not the same as being safe. That Thursday, I went down to the canteen like I always did, head clear, heels steady, thoughts already elsewhere. Lunch was routine, predictable, harmless, until I felt it. The shift. It wasn't a stare, not the kind I was used to. It was hesitation. I turned slightly, tray in hand, scanning faces out of habit more than curiosity. That's when I saw him. He sat among a group of men who were too loud, too animated, too certain of themselves, but he wasn't like them. His shoulders were drawn in as if he were trying to take up less space than he was entitled to. His laughter, when it came, was brief, restrained, almost apologetic. And when our eyes met, he didn't hold my gaze. He flinched. Actually flinched. He swallowed visibly, then dropped his eyes to the table in front of him like it had suddenly become the most important thing in the room. That was new. Men usually leaned into eye contact, as if daring me to look away first. This one retreated from it, as though seeing me had startled him. I looked away, not because I was embarrassed, but because I was curious. No one noticed, not even his friends, but I did. The next day, fate or boredom repeated the scene. Same time, same canteen. This time he was alone. I noticed immediately. The absence of his friends made him more visible, not less. He sat stiffly, phone face down on the table, gaze fixed downward like he was bracing for something. I ordered my food, took my tray, and told myself to walk past. I should have. But curiosity has a quiet pull. It doesn't shout, it nudges. I moved the chair across from him and sat down. Hi. The word barely reached him before his head snapped up. His eyes widened, not in delight, not in confidence, but in pure, unfiltered panic. Hi, he replied, voice tight. He grabbed his phone immediately, thumbs hovering over the screen, pretending to text someone who clearly did not exist. The act was clumsy, transparent, almost painful to watch. I almost smiled. Almost. Instead, I studied him. He wasn't trying to impress me, wasn't posturing, wasn't pretending to be something he wasn't. He was simply overwhelmed. Men tortured themselves around women all the time, lingering, flexing, performing. They called it admiration. I called it ego in costume. But this was different. This was a man trying desperately not to intrude. I lifted my bottle of Coke and shifted it just enough for my napkin to slide off and drift toward him. I'm sorry, I said softly. He caught it instinctively, like he was grateful for the task. His fingers brushed the fabric of my sleeve for a fraction of a second before he recoiled, handing it back. No smile, no you're welcome. Just nerves. I didn't look away. I'm Danika, I said. He straightened like a man preparing for judgment. I'm Noah, he replied, and in that moment, something clicked. Not attraction, not yet, recognition. He wasn't looking at me like something to be won, or conquered, or consumed. He was looking at me like a storm he wasn't sure he was allowed to stand in. That mattered more than he knew. Before either of us could say anything else, his friends burst into the canteen, loud, careless, full of noise. Their conversation died instantly when they saw us. Shock spread across their faces in real time. I stood, tray in hand. Have a good lunch, Noah, I said. He nodded, still speechless. As I walked away, I felt it. The weight of his gaze finally lifting, not following me, but lingering where I had been. And for the first time in a very long time, I wondered, what kind of man looks away and somehow leaves a deeper mark than all the ones who never did?